Keynote speaker, but we call speaker because it's really in an interview form, informal sessions. A bit of some house rule actually is that we try to make it informal. Do put some questions you have. We probably will have question at the end of the session, but again, I probably will still, somewhere in the middle, pause for a while for question, because no point after 40 minutes, then we talk about the first minute. So it's quite more relatable in a sense. And in these sessions, we are not going to be some, cannot mention wrong names here, some press where you try to corner people and things like that. No, we're going to really ask questions and really want to understand more in that situation. All right? And okay with that?
Excellent.
Okay. And you can see I have 2 pages of questions, easily about 25. Not that we must finish it, but we're going to have some warm-up sessions first.
Sure.
Okay, yeah? All right, fine. So the first one is that, why finance?
That's a very interesting question. Unlike these days, you can be an influencer, you can be a pianist, you can be, a gamer. No one bothers, right? And your parents will most likely support you as long as you're happy. During my days, and don't let this deceive you, I'm actually 57 years old.
Oh.
So during those days, the options are you either become an engineer, doctor, lawyer, dan lain-lain. And the dan lain, don't know lah, because it's not so, and we don't have that mentor-mentee career path counseling during my time. Okay, I did science. I did pretty well, but I realized that I did physics, chemistry, biology, all the stuff. But I had to force myself to study. I had to memorize it. So I know that is not what I want to do as a career path. So what are the options? The other options now go to humanities, arts, and so on. So in the end, somehow there's a calling. Finance seems to be the path. I started in audit, and then I went into investment banking. That may be a quick snapshot. So nothing adventurous, nothing. It is by default.
Okay, it's a bit of one sec.
One sec.
I see. All right, good. Now, do you have any particular hobbies? Still warm up,
Well, this one, hobbies. For those who I know, one of my friends is not here today. Chi Bing. And
supposed to be working WiseConnect.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. My hobby actually, I like to eat. I like sweets. I have a sweet tooth. So actually, I started baking when I was 13 years old. Not again by default. My life is a lot of them by default. My sister bought some premix and it's going to expire. At 13 years old, school holiday comes. Sorry, I don't have games and all that. So I think, hey, Buna, go and make lah. All you need to do is break 2 eggs, put a glass of water, and then kacau and go into the oven. And that's it. It's a premix, right? Okay. So it came out and glory, gosh, it tastes decent then. This was so it started the interest. How does it relate to my hobby now? Over the years, I realized that baking to me is a way for me to get away from the challenges of work. Those with my office will know when I'm stressed, they will see cake in the pantry the next day. Okay, how do I relate it? Actually, for those who bake, you know that it is actually a process. I bake something, a recipe for countless time. But the moment you don't concentrate, you don't focus, you don't follow the steps and the sequence, the taste will taste quite different. Edible, but different. So again, I use it as an avenue to de-stress.
So are you saying that there's this something called mindfulness in baking cake?
Definitely. And for myself, I do enjoy the product, of course, very important, right? And yes, definitely in terms of mindfulness is something that I keep on reminding myself. I'm actually a WIP, work in progress. Something that relates, if you ask me to define how I lead my life, um, how I want myself to be better, it would be middle path, balance, mindfulness is the other. In fact, later I'll share. I have actually the mindfulness word crafted on this watch, so that it reminds me at all time um, to watch what I do, how I practice, and I think more importantly is uh, continue to improve and learn.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, now let's go into something serious. The first part actually is that we know that actually work-life balance is a buzzword nowadays. Everything work-life balance. I don't know whether work not balance or life not balance, but they just want to have work-life balance. All right. So, do you separate spiritual life, working life, family life, and social life?
I'm not sure whether word is separate. Is that they are all intertwined. They are all interdependent. But over the course of maybe about 30 years, the emphasis at different time changes. And I'm aware in my early days, you're going for um, experience, promotion, money, and so forth. Um, but unfortunately enough, along the path of it, I was introduced to Buddhism. Coincidentally, at some 30 odd years ago, I happened to seek solace at the Brickfield Buddhist Vihara. And being brought up in a Taoist family, yeah, your mom will tell you to do this, do that, but you never know why. I just follow lah. Yeah, typical Asian family. Then I just follow. But there's this little question say, "Mom, why am I doing this? Just do lah, poopy. It's very good at everything." But you never know. I happened to be in Brickfields one day and I saw this little banner, and it was a challenging time, but because mom was very ill, I didn't know what to do. I went to a temple to seek, probably some support or some prayers. And I chanced upon this little, advertisement, they call it Buddhism for beginners. And that's it. Oh, and it's in English, even better. Why? I'm a banana lah. So, and that time very few programs are in English. So it sort of sparked my interest. And along the way, I got introduced and happened to be introduced to, one of the more famous Dharma speakers, Brother Sing Huat. And sorry, my apologies. And it dawned on me that is something that I'm very comfortable with, partly because it was not pushed on me. It was something that I wanted to find out more. Yeah. So I think that's something that maybe I like to share. In terms of over a period of time, yes.
Okay, when I had coffee with you earlier, I realized that actually when I talk about some Pali terms, Dharma, whatever, you seem to be quite well versed as well. So since then, how do you develop your Dharma amidst your work and your life and everything,
I must profess that unlike some of my peers, they have advanced much more into suttas and all that. But on my own, I think what is important is I practice it as much as I can at different facets of my career. For example, when I want to change job, there's a few options. I was offered a company that deals with casino. We don't need to name names. I was offered.
Which one?
Okay,
It's
now
okay,
we
it's
know
okay.
you don't gamble, so it's okay. I was offered a job which does concession road food. But what attracted me is that it has a cancer research center. So that piqued my interest to find out a bit more. Then I was also offered a job at a development property company. And I thought, okay, after thinking aloud, even though, prospects are quite good in the casino, but is that the livelihood that I want to look into? Right livelihood, right? I think that's something that I'm mindful about it. Uh, it's good company, pays well. I think the other one is, it's going to be a balance between the cancer research and also house. Okay, I chop trees, but at that time ESG is not such a big component. So I said building house are providing support, comfort care. Maybe I do that. I think what is more relevant at the time is that I went a step further. I said, what's your CSR yeah, program? I think, and that time I was with Satya. Satya has a very active foundation which support education. So that was the deciding factor. So that's how little thing that I do to practice the Dharma.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. Good to hear that. Now, question. At work and outside work, we know that we have friends. Okay. Curious. How do you know which one you want to invest more or which one you don't want? For example, do you have the type of selection criteria?
As in friends.
Yes.
Um, I think maybe going back is like I have different group of friends. If you look at it in work friends, of course, I think the other one is spiritual friends, of course, and the other one is maybe travel friends or party friends, you call it.
Mm.
One thing that I remind myself that no one is perfect, yeah, and instead of focusing on the negative of part of an individual, take the positive part. What can I learn from it? What can I pick up from the traits? And if that close friend of mine doesn't have this interest, this common interest, I'll seek it elsewhere. I think that is how, maybe. So I do have different segment of friends.
I see. Different categories.
Different categories.
Okay. All right, good. Now, I mean, at work, yeah, we also have colleagues and friends and so on, right? Okay. Now, at your most likely you will be leading some team members and you have bosses to report to. All of them all need your attention. Okay, need your tender love and care. So how do you care?
That's an interesting question. Well, I was
Especially if
actually I was in the service line for almost 20 over years, serving different set of customers, different corporates and all that sort of thing. Very stressful. The latest I work until is 6 a.m. in the morning for that in investment banking. Yeah, that is those days. And I think at the end of our day is knowing what you want at the time. It was a period whereby uh, I need to establish myself, do it well. What is important is knowing when to stop, to take a breather, and focus on something that you enjoy. I always tell myself, you are not running 100 meters, you are running a marathon. So step by step. I used to be a procrastinator. You know, things that is something I don't like. At one stage, I can't remember where, I started saying, or I learned from someone saying, maybe you start with things that you don't like first. And then the little bit that you chip away, rejoice in it. Look at it as in, okay, that's one thing about carrying too many things. You've cleaned 10% of it. The next day you do it another 10%. So I think that make it a bit more bearable. In terms of focus wise, it changes over time.
I see. Now, you talked about just now taking a break and so on. So how do you recharge yourself so that you can continue this marathon?
Well, I think we're all different. And for me, is right now, the last 10 years, bigger cake. Yeah. And of course, we all have our little support system. Develop a group of friends who can be your support. Sometimes it's just good to have someone that is just willing to listen. Find a friend who's just willing to listen to your sorrows, problems, complaints, without him being too judgmental. Find that individual you're comfortable with. I think that's a very important support system that, especially in this very rapid, engaging society nowadays, being able to find that friend who you can trust is very important.
Thank you for sharing that. Now I'm going to pause for a while here. Any questions? Any compelling, treasuring questions that, okay.
As a group CFO, what are the biggest challenge? Maybe 1, 2, or 3 biggest challenge you have on a daily basis, and how do you deal with it? Thank you. So we can learn as a managerial role that we can learn from you.
My challenge, that's one thing that one of the most important teaching is for all, regardless as a CFO, but we are not going to be expert in all. Yeah. But what is more important is how you get your own team. Get your own team means that's why things like diversity is important. Yeah. Get your own team to help you where you are not so strong. Focus on your strength, but build your own team. Someone who can complement you for that matter. I think that's very important. Know your weakness. Know what are the things that you need to develop. If you can develop it on your own along the path, that's great. If you don't think that is possible, it's taking too long, get yourself associated with someone who will be able to complement you. I think that's something that I learned along the journey.
Any other burning questions before I ask? No, all right, okay. Here, be aware. Okay, we have one question.
Say what normally how many people how many as a team.
Well, it really depends on what you're looking for. It'll take time, and sometimes you just need to open your mouth and ask, who can help me? Who can? You'll be surprised if you don't ask. No one will know that you need that. So, in my experience, wise, for example, relating, and after serving the community or the business sector for 20 years, I want to be served. I want to be ordered because I was doing a lot of consultancy work in audit and then in investment banking, helping company in the base funds. I want to be served for once. So I actually opened my mouth and said that, hey, it's time. I spent 20 years in this. I want to find a job on the other side to be served. So I just asked someone, I keep on repeating the same thing, and true enough, one of my friends said, hey, there's an opportunity. So coming back to you is, if you know what you want and you don't think that you have that skill set, look around. Start by sharing.
Okay. Any more questions later? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take over. Okay. Now I noticed that you shift. You also move a few jobs. Okay. A quick question: is you looking for the job, or actually is the job looking for you?
I've only got 4 jobs.
Quite a lot already in the old times.
Oh, yeah.
Now 1 year, 4
Oh,
times.
actually, 3
okay.
jobs. 3 jobs. Well, I think generally is I was looking for it. Partly, during those days again, I can't be an influencer, dancer, makeup artist, or whatever. Finance are very boring. First 3 years audit, and then after that, I look for the next phase, which is investment banking. I was there for about 16 years in the same organization. Why did I say so long? I think in the 16 years, I have 5 CEOs. Yeah, 5 CEOs. And each of them imparted different things with me.
I see.
So once again, I look at their strength. One of them even has a very bad temper, but he is a brilliant teacher. Yeah, in the sense that look at the positive side of things again. Coming back to then, I sought to decide maybe I don't want to be in the industry. I want to be served like say, that's when I start searching for opportunities again.
Okay, good. Now, what do you think that actually, besides technical competency, that corporate are seeking from your side?
These days, when I speak to someone, interview, besides the credentials, yeah, that's all in your CV. What's more important is does the person really want the job? Is it passionate about it? Because if you are able to identify someone who really wants it, not because so happened that I study, the subject, you will find that individuals are willing to put in additional hours beyond the official 9 to 5, 9 to 6 kind of hours to learn more of the trades.
I see. All right, good. Share good tips, yeah, for those who are going for interviews. Okay. All right. Next, at your current position, which is quite senior, leadership quality, I think, is one of the important or critical factor in that case. So, do you think that learning the Dharma helps in building leadership?
Definitely.
Elaborate.
Continue to stay humble.
Mm.
Yeah. In spite of the accolades that you may be given, it's all impermanent. Things will change. You might gain the recognition right now, but once you lose the position, you'll be surprised. So instead of being disappointed later on, continue to stay humble, stay to the path, and know that things will change, and adapt along the way. COVID was a brilliant incident whereby no one had experienced, no one had the knowledge how long it's going to be, and we survived because we change as a company, as an individual.
Good. Thanks for that. Now, since you also practice Dharma, you also in work. Do you like apply Dharma at your work?
I answer is yes. How one of the key factors would be willing to listen. Yeah. Instead of give them opportunity to excel with certain guidance and parameters. years. I think that's something that I continue to practice.
I see. Thanks for that. Now, some says that working for others cannot be rich. I have my own opinion, but wonder what do you think?
Rich is relative.
Okay.
Yeah. I think what's important is you have to be comfortable. I've got colleagues who are excellent, and have opportunities to rise through the career path, but she chose not to because I got family commitment. My priorities are my kids, my family. So, as an organization, as a leader, we respect that. It's a very important, she plays a very important role. She doesn't want to progress, but she's very comfortable and she does her work very well. We keep her, but she also has to know that there's so much we can do for her. But she's happy. So, in that sense, that's not a problem. We are, if you ask me to choose, would I want to be an employee again? The answer is maybe yes. Because I know that I'm not an entrepreneur. I not everyone is born a business leader, as in Chong. I want to. So I think what's more important is to understand yourself. Would it make you happy or not? Are you gonna have sleepless night? Of course, we do sometimes, but what is important is being able. I pride my sleep. Yeah, uh, it's very important. I don't want to be in a position whereby I might earn a lot, but I'm going to worry all the time.
Thank you. Next question. Since we talk about money, do you have investments? Oh, wow, it is part of the module. It's called your wealth protection.
Of course.
Yeah, one comes later.
Yeah, of course. For those who read a bit more, investment is all about diversification. Yeah, there is no win-all for that. You need to have pockets, and hopefully your diversification portfolio are rebalanced over time. Nowadays, there are definitely more opportunities and different asset class for you to consider. I was told some of you are real estate agents in this classroom, so that is a good career path to these days. We work quite a fair bit with them. What is important is what you earn, enjoy a bit, save, and keep some for the rainy days, which is what Buddha has shared and taught us somewhat 2,600 years ago. So that is, of course, some of the next question really, I got so little extra in a month. How do I split into? Well, you adjust along the way. Yeah. Maybe early days, don't say so much, but start the practice and you adjust as you progress in your career.
Thanks. Okay, a commercial break. Any tips for property to buy? From over, of course.
I declare I'm related party, so
Okay.
no, what I'm saying is that there are. My only tip is find out a bit more about the developer. I'm not saying that don't just buy for equal. There are quite good developers out there. Just make sure that you don't get yourself involved because you may have heard some of the smaller developer might have good location close to your mom's place, your father's place, but if they cannot deliver, you're going to end up with abandoned projects. And in these days, there's quite a fair bit. And some of my friends who knows that I'm in this business have to come back and say, hey, what do I do next? It's taken 6 years and haven't delivered. I say, once you're in that boat, it's going to be quite difficult. So make sure that whatever you buy at different time of your life, make sure that it's one with decent reputation.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the tips. Okay, now next one, not promotion. Okay, you mentioned about post-COVID is a opportunity for us to learn and be changed, right? Now during that period, I think that a lot of things, some things did go back to what it was, but most things, sorry, it still keep changing until today. So the change become, I would say, accelerating to an extent. So, okay, do you stress over this type of continuous changes?
I think stress is something that is unavoidable in this kind of life, especially when with technology, uh, no longer you need to have a physical meet. Gone are the days that say, okay, lah, I'll meet you in 3 hours time. Nowadays, your boss one says that, hey, can we have a call in 10 minutes? And that's what happened during COVID. I had Zoom call with him at 10 p.m. After dinner but we all respect that because we are in uncharted territories. During a period, houses cannot be built, salaries continue. We have 1,100 employees. Of course, we had a drastic decision to take some pay cut along the way, but uh, we need to survive. We didn't retrench anyone. What is important is learning, continue to improve. Digitalization was back up during that time. Still remember that we had board of directors, and some board directors are 60, 70 years old. We actually had to go and find out how to do Zoom on our own. And it took a while, even for the youngsters, because no one who heard of Zoom at that time. Maybe they heard of Skype, but Zoom, no one knows. The first couple of months was just after we know kind of a bit, we had to actually share with the rest of the more senior people. So there was constant changes, and it was stressful. It was stressful during the period because we don't know when it's going to end. But we just know that if you don't do something to change, and we're going to do the same thing over, you might not be able to survive that period.
Thanks. Now, how do you cope then when there's stress? Because the stress, the change is still continuous until today. Things are still changing, If you want to have a meeting, we can always ask virtual or physical. A lot of things are changing, hybrid, work-life balance, blah, 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 whatever. So again, how do you cope with those type of stress? Not stress, cope with change, sorry. What would be your advice?
I think if you ask me 20 years ago, I'll be very frustrated. Why my boss called me at this time? I'll, be very unhappy. But as you go along and reflect, that's the only thing that says permanent change, impermanence. Once you accept that, maybe about 30% of those ill feeling about having to work at 10 p.m. goes away. Then you can concentrate on getting it done.
I see.
That I think is a lot of the stress is how to manage yourself. But just don't burn out. Remember to take a breather, go out for your walk. You want a massage, or whatever you enjoy, listen to your music, come back, refresh. I think that's more important.
Thank you. Now, one more question before we pass it to the floor. Being a Buddhist, how do you see your role in the community?
For start, sharing. Maybe this is the first time to be honest. I have this kind of session. Most of the time, it's just sharing among friends. Not necessarily call it Buddhist. It's just way of life, practice. What I do may not apply to all of you because we're all different. But more importantly is give the opportunity when you are with friends and all that is maybe to listen. I keep on reminding myself today for the first 15 minutes, don't talk, just listen.
Thank you. Okay. Now, we're going to listen to some of your questions. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Yes.
Hi.
Hi, Kak Boon. My name is Dee.
For start, I don't answer to that though. Probably.
Okay, I just wanted to know from your perspective, what will be your belief, your philosophy?
Believe, okay, coming back, balance, middle. That's something that I adhere to. Even before I learned a bit more about Buddhism, I felt very at ease with that path. Some people say, yeah, you're Switzerland, everything neutral one. I say, but that's not true. It has its virtues. Yeah. I like sweets. Yeah. I indulge in them, but I make sure that I don't overindulge. At one time, WhatsApp, you can change all your icon all the time. At one time, my symbol is what? Have a guess. Touching. You support? No.
Balance. Barisan National logo.
Touching. Things. The old version.
Yeah.
Balance. So that's something again. These are little tips to remind myself, and that is something that till now I feel very comfortable. I need to be comfortable to be able to practice. Then it becomes not put on, but after a while it's second nature.
All right, good. Other questions? Oh, okay. Enough firstness. Later.
Hi.
How do you adapt to change? And so much changes in the industry, how do you make success?
Very good question. It took me 2 years to fully immerse in that field. Tough 2 years, but with the support of friends, colleagues, I think the organization is very important. And one of the things that I reminded myself when I opted for this is that politics is not something I'm good at. I don't play politics. I don't enjoy playing politics. I think I will be massacred by someone who play politics in the organization. Definitely, I'll be out in round one. So, what is more important during a time is to garner yourself with a group of friends who are willing to teach you. Read a lot, ask a lot. I think that's very important. Because so the part about in my organization, why I chose that is after checking with friends and all that. It's okay lah. Politics you can't eliminate. It's kept at a very minimal level. I'm able to do my work. I don't spend a lot of time unnecessarily fighting fires, CYA, for that. By the way, sidetrack a bit lah. Interesting question. Does anyone know what CYA is?
Cover your. Okay. CYA. It's an old term.
It's an old term. So I was curious because recently I was talking and sharing with my colleagues. I said CYA. They asked me, "Oh, what's CYA?" So it's a generation gap again.
Okay. Thanks for the question. One more, brother. Since you're new.
This is a commercial term. If it's too sensitive or not comfortable, you just say.
No problem.
We'll talk about this after the call.
Whoa.
So as a commercial, I have two aspects. One is from the developer. I'm not asking, just asking. This is just a conversation. Whatever you say doesn't account for any investment or
A lot of disclaimer.
Okay, number one, I'm just always curious because I was with American Express Platinum Service. So I know the number of Crazy Rich Asian in Malaysia, the number attendings.
Yep.
So I'm just curious because I spoke to some of them in my early days. Is as someone at your level who has access to some information that you don't, do you also engage investment banker to advise you on your investment, or someone with your experience and knowledge in the finance, you make your own call? Because it's always the same. The millionaires always take investment advice from the person who takes the LRT to the bank, right? So that's my number one question. Whether you make your own decision or you also engage them. Number two is as of this early morning, yesterday, NPAC announced that as of Johor, there's about 19.3% houses not sold. They account for ringgit Malaysia 17.2 billion ringgit. With the rates that's going on and also Evergrande in China, do we foresee within the next 24 months that Evergrande will have to liquidate all the assets in Southeast Asia, including Malaysia and Singapore? And will that further impact the soft market that we're experiencing in the property? By the way, I'm from Sika. I'm the procurement manager. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a very The Edge newspaper question. Which I get when I launch my new product.
The straightforward answer for question that we asked myself, you'd be surprised. I engage professional. Partly it comes to yourself. Now there is so many products out there, so many opportunities. Unless you're a very good manager yourself and you read a lot, maybe you just pay someone to do it for you, and they can dedicate their time to find. But of course, at the end of the day, you're accountable. You make the final call. What they do is they package it, they sieve it, and they present to you. So to answer the question, yes, I do engage professional. Some has gone bad, like all things, but again, coming back to don't put all your investment in one basket. Know what you're investing in before, because at the end of the day, even with the professionals and all that sort of thing, after they give your commission, if they make losses, you don't take out their commission. There's nothing like that. So you have to be accountable. What they do actually is they sieve out based on your parameters, yeah, and then share it with you. You make the final call. On the part about property overhang that you read in the report, yes, there are, but what this macro data doesn't tell you is the segment of the unsold units, where they are. Quite a number of them are built in Sankara Form, if you know what it means. They are all isolated.
Sankara, okay, not Sankara Duka. It's somewhere in a rural, sub-rural area, and it's called Sankara.
So you'll be surprised, a lot of them are built out of nowhere. There's no support system, there's no commercial, and maybe the quality is lackluster. For you to travel out, maybe you need 30 minutes just to get out of that Taman and all that sort of thing. Quite a number of them are that condition. Coming back to, again, decent developer would not, because they have a reputation. And I'm happy I work with an organization whereby branding is important. So we make sure that we deliver what we promise. At one time, again, sorry, I give me 10 seconds of selling. When we first started that time, we had a visual. For those who may not know, EcoWorld, quite a number of them came from Serbia. But we know product to sell when it was only a 10-year-old company, EcoWorld. So when we first sold that time, what we did was we had only had basically artist impression. 4 years down the track, we use the same artist impression and measure to what we deliver, and that becomes our brand. So what we promise we deliver. I think very important because these days, with the speed of social media, one thing that you couldn't address well enough, it will blow up the next day. I'm not saying that we're perfect. We still got lots of complaints. There are so many components in how they're bound to be. But I think the other part is also the recovery. Yeah, there's no perfect house, but how you address the anger, the dissatisfaction of the customer is a skill. It's how you tame the emotion to say, yes, I acknowledge that there are things that could be done better. I'll make sure I'll do it. I'll rectify it for you, and I deliver it, and I follow up with you. And there have been many circumstances where we turn dissatisfied customers to someone who believe in the brand and continue promoting it. I think that's again what you're looking at continuity, sustainability. So to come back to your question, there are, but you may want to break down the segment of the unsold units. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. One last question, because time's up.
These are all participants who are working wise. They're all young employees and some are potential bosses, right? So you have been, you started your career from the bottom all the way to the CEO of a company. I'm sure
CFO.
yes, you have a vast of experience. So if there is these three traits and you're looking for somebody who has got potential to go to that level, three traits, what are the three traits you're looking for so that you can share with the rest of them? So that they, if they are bosses, they will then look at people when they select the employees, they will know what to look for, and if they're an employee, how do they develop that traits so that they can become more marketable? Maybe you can share with us. Thanks.
And very important again to learn continuously. Things are changing so often. What is relevant and important maybe 20 years, 30 years ago, it's less of an importance now. So keep up with the trend, read. These days, not to gloat, but I like to read everything. You talk about, child education, you talk about, travel, you talk about, the only things that I don't delve into that much will be politics. So continue to read and surround yourself with different group of people. And once you have chosen your path, uh, be responsible and deliver. I think I'll be looking at someone who's willing to go beyond the 9 to 6. Again, I'm not asking you to burn all your midnight oil. Work smart these days. One of the things that I've guided my colleagues these days, ChatGPT. Yeah, I've actually told them to use ChatGPT, but don't plagiarize that. It's everything. Don't make it yourself. Make it your own. There's a skill. Practice it. That speed things up a lot. At least get the first draft out based on the pointers. Yeah, there are courses out there to teach you how to maximize ChatGPT. We cannot ignore that is going to be the next thing to happen. So what we can do is just harness it, make it to your advantage, use it properly, lah. Yeah, make it yourself. I tell you why. Sorry, I won't give names. I've got a friend. We went out for dinner and all that sort of thing. After that birthday dinner, came back, text in the group chat of those who celebrated his birthday. Suddenly, his language last time is thank you, I enjoyed myself. That particular event, he wrote basically a 10-sentence thank you message. Straight away, I said, this sounded like a chat GPT kind of message. So, I would have liked it if I were to do it. Yes, use the chat GPT, but make it your own.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, one more, from Rob.
I just want to ask you, based on your role as well as your experience, is there any occasion that you make very difficult decisions that has to affect people's life or even something that is beyond your principle? So how do you do that?
I must say I'm fortunate that it's not so drastic. Even during COVID, I work for a boss that's quite decent. He didn't fire anyone, but we did take pay cut, huge pay cut, especially for the seniors. I think what is important is that communication. Yeah, we communicated to the team why we had to do it, and we managed to come out stronger. The only time that I may have had to let someone go is because the person didn't perform. After repeated advice of how to improve. So that's the only thing. And she's a single mother. I didn't feel quite good at it, but maybe as a professional, I had to. But what I did was referred her to someone because her performance is also a function of because she couldn't spend so much time. So I actually refer her to someone who's willing to prepare to hire on a part-time basis.
All right. Thank you very much for your sharing and insights. I think if there's something I could tap out from this 45 minutes or so, I think the first is about balance, which you talk about the Dutching. I think most of you have not seen a Dutching in your life. I have. The second thing I think is about mindfulness. You talk about, even in baking a cake, there's mindfulness, which again is one of our practice in Buddhism as well. Okay, and I think the third actually is accepting change as being the constant in the case. At least I think from what I hear from you, and this is 30% of your uneasy feeling.
At least mine.
All right. So I think these three are important of the takeaway for me, which I think some of you may have other takeaway as well. So thank you very much for being so candid and insightful. And for the ones, I think I'll invite Didi Kimberly. Yes. Okay.